Hello everyone, Paul here from the Pin Academy. So in today's video, we're going to be speaking about something that we have not spoken about on this channel, but as a trader, you need to be knowing it. And what is that? That's how to deal with fundamental trading. Now, most people tend to misunderstand fundamental trading, and they think actually it's just a segment of what we call news trading. So by end of this video, you must be able to understand the difference and know how to deal with each of the different segments we're going to be talking about. Now, just to take a step backwards, we have three types of trading that as a trader you need to know. The first one is the most common one, which is technical analysis. The second one is fundamental analysis. Then the third one, people don't even talk about it so much, but it's also very important, which is the sentimental analysis. So these three types of analysis as a trader, you need to know them. You may not use all of them, but at least you should be using two. Either use technical and fundamental or use technical and sentimental. You can even use three of them to make a conclusive decision before you take a trade, right? Now, someone may be saying this could be overwhelming or what. No, it's not overwhelming depending on how you use them, right? So today we're tackling fundamental trading. Now, we all know that as you're looking at my screen, and this is a chart, right? Let's say you want to trade EuroCAD. There are three ways. You can use those three ways to deal with EuroCAD. The first one is technical, whereby we know that in technical, we're dealing with these tools like we have diagonals, uh, 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 the tools we use to do support and resistance. We have trend lines. We have tools to draw levels like those rectangles and the rest, right? So these are tools that you use to do technical analysis. Even you can put indicators, blah, blah, and the rest, right? That's technical. When you come to fundamentals, in fundamentals, we're working with what we call data or what we call information. Now, this information or data is gotten from either one, companies, two, economies of countries. Now, why am I saying companies? Also, most of us trade stock indices like NASDAQ, Dow Jones. When you go to Asia, we have Nikkei. When you go to Australia side, we have the Aussie 2000 and the rest. In Europe, we have UK 100. We have German 30 or JA 30. Those are what we call stock indices. Now, when you're trading stock indices, you need to understand the fundamentals that are coming out of the companies because it's the companies that make up these stock indices, right? So that's why I've mentioned economies and the stocks, right? So the news coming out of those companies, you must be able to understand them and interpret them, right? So when you come to fundamentals, there are two ways, right? There are two ways you can trade it. One, you can trade it as news. You can do what we call news trading, which is short term. And then number two, you can do long term trading in fundamentals. This one is interpretation of the economic data. But before I go forward, let's first look at the data that we're talking about. We have three types of data. The first one is the event, which most people trade. When someone says, most of us traders say that I'm a fundamental trader. Now, when you go deep and ask him, you will find out this person actually is an event trader, what we call a news trader, someone who's trading an event, right? By an event, I mean when you come to economic calendar, these events here. Are you seeing? This is someone we call an event trader, right? If you're just going to enter the market while targeting the movement of this one, maybe between 30 to 100 pips, you're an event trader. Yes, it's under fundamental trading, but we categorize you as a news trader or events trader, right? That's the short term because we're trading it just short term. Now, that's the first one, events. Then secondly, you can also trade speeches, right? When you go to investing.com, which I like using, there are many platforms, which I'm going to come to just in a few minutes. You can see investing.com categorizes for you. We have speeches, preliminary releases, if a release has been revised, if the data is being retrieved, if there's a report. So you can trade these. So the events, there are speeches and reports, right? This is what you can trade under data, right? Now, you can use this data, like I've mentioned, in a short-term way or a long-term way. Now, short-term way, we have said you're doing news trading. You're trading events, these events and the speeches or reports just in a few minutes or a few seconds, right? Then you trade it before the release. You're getting it? This is what most or 90% or 95%, actually majority of the traders do this. Only a few traders go for what we call long-term fundamental trading, which is understanding the economic data that you've been given. And now this one, you trade it after the event, the event is done and you've seen the information. The information I'm talking about is, for example, you see last week, we had these events here, right? And then we have you can see this previous forecast that came out. Sorry, the previous information that came out from this event, then the forecast, and then the actual. So you wait for the actual to actually come out. Now, most people think that you're only going to be trading colors, and people have crammed that the green one is good, the black one is neutral, the red one is bad. I'm sure as traders, if you've been trading for some time, you can bear me witness that most of the times this is wrong because we're interpreting it in the wrong way. Sometimes it's going to be correct because we know green is good, black means that it's not changed, and then red means that it has come out negative, right? But sometimes for people who are trading news or who don't understand, they'll think that it's bad. They go, for example, this one is according to the dollar. They think the dollar is now weak. Then from nowhere, the dollar is very strong at that particular time because we do not understand, right? We don't understand the difference between short-term fundamental trading and long-term fundamental trading. Now, normally, the negativity of positivity of these events, the actual outcome, is realized in the long-term trading. If you're a real fundamental trader who is doing long-term trading. Now, we have mentioned how you can do news trading for short-term. What about long-term? Now, let's first list some of the events, not all of them, because this is just like the first video. We're going to have a series of such type of videos. Now, some of the events that you can do news trading with, or events trading, the short-term fundamental trading. Some of them, we have NFP, we have PPI, we have PMI, we have employment and unemployment rates when they're going to release them. We have the CPIs of different currencies. We have GDP, etc. That's for short term. That's what you're seeing here, the CPIs and the rest. Now, when you observe here, there are some specific ones that are very key. For example, last week we had this one where you're seeing monetary policy assessment and the SNB policy rate, meaning that there's interest rate that was given there. Now, this is one of the examples of long-term fundamental trading because it affects the economy in the long term. Now, the events that we mentioned before, NFP, GDP, PPI, PMI, housing, the rest, etc. Those ones affect the economy for a short period in a short period of time, right? They cover a very big range of time. That's why we are categorizing them under news trading, event trading, and short-term fundamental analysis or fundamental trading. But if you want to do long-term, you need to focus on these that I'm giving you. There are many others, but the ones that personally I use to look fundamentally at a setup is this. We look at interest rates because they affect the economy in a long period of time. I will give an example of what is happening right now. Most people are expecting the US, the Fed in the US government or the country of the US to cut the rate. But there are very many factors that have to be considered. Why do they want those people to cut the rate? Because we have high inflation rates. The economy, the dollar is strong, right? The dollar is strong because the interest rate is high, right? That's the interpretation of a trader, me and you. But when you look at the economy, the interpretation of Powell, the Fed guy, for him, he's not looking at it that way. He's looking at balancing his economy. He has to time the right point to cut the interest rate or not, because it's not just about the currency being strong, because the currency can be strong on the charts when actually it's weak on the actual ground. And also it can be strong on the ground, and here you're seeing it is very weak, right? So as a fundamental trader, those are things that you need to understand. So this video is not going to be so long. We shall be, like I've said, we're starting a series, and then we shall be explaining all this. I don't want the video to be so long, right? Now, this is the first one for long-term interest rate. And then secondly, is just this one that you've seen, the monetary policy assessment. You can see when they're almost together. This is the interest rate of this. Actually, there's a policy rate summary here. This policy, monetary policy, those of you who did the economics understand. Monetary policy, these are policies that are going to, they're like drivers of the economy for a long period of time. They're setting them, putting them up in place, how the economy is going to be governed and how it's going to be run. So these are things that can run for a very long period of time. We're talking about a whole quarter, about half a year, about a year, for long. For example, the dollar has not cut interest since last year. So the policies that were designed before the rates were, that time when the rates were being hiked or being cut, that the policies that are still running on right now. That's why you see when you watch the Powell's speeches and the rest, he's just saying, not yet, not yet. The economy is still ABCD. They're not yet cutting because they're still basing on those policies that they put in place when they're increasing the rates. Getting it? I hope I'm making sense, right? So we have looked at what fundamental trading is. We have said that here, this is a type of analysis whereby we're working with data and information coming from economies, and even companies. I've given you how companies come in and why economies. Economies were affecting the currency directly. Then the stock information is affecting indices. Those of you who trade indices like Nasdaq, Dow Jones, S&P 500, German 30, and the rest. Some of you don't even understand what drives those things. Then we have looked at the type of fundamental trading. We have looked at the short term and long term. Short term, we have said we involve news trading. Then long term, we have said we look at economic data after the release, and we have given some of the examples. Short term, we're focusing on NFP, CPI, GDP, etc. Right? Then the long term, we're focusing on the monetary policy assessment reports, and also we're focusing on the interest rate. There are many others, but we shall be looking at them in the upcoming videos. Right? Then we have looked at how you can choose also. If you're going to trade news trading, this is what I also want to emphasize on. But before I go there, let's look at some of the avenues where you can get this information, right? For example, the calendar is very important for preparation of a trader. Now, we have different types of sites you can use. One of them is Fastbull. You can use this to give you a calendar whereby you can focus on. Then also you filter out and make sure, you have to filter out and make sure that you're focusing on all the events that are having high impact. Now, there's Fastbull, you can use that. And then also there's Forex Factory, very crucial, that people use most. Most of the traders use that. So you can see I've already, this one is my side is already filtered. So when you want to filter, you go here where you're seeing this funnel here. It's for filtering. Now you can see the red color on this one. It doesn't matter, but when you filter, it will show you all that. So when you go to filtering, make sure you select the currencies that you want to trade. Personally, I select all because I do analysis for many of you, and though personally also my currencies are here. I love trading the CAD and I love trading the JPY. You also tick the events that you want, and then after you can apply the filter. Now, personally, I unchecked these ones that have low impact, and I left with the one with the high impact, the expected impact, and you click apply filter, right? So personally, I want to cancel because I want it to remain the same. Then also the time. Now, Forex Factory gives you the time according to where you are. Now, personally, I'm in GMT +3. If you're in EST, if you're in whatever part of the world you're in, it will give you that automatically. Others like investing.com, which I like using, it does give it that you have to change it yourself manually. For example, here you can see I'm in GMT +3, but here it's showing me the time for GMT -4. So you have to, when you come to filters, set it the way you want, choose the currencies, the impact, and then also change the currency. Now, what's the importance of looking at these calendars? Now, my recommended period for looking at this calendar is during the weekend, right? Over the weekend, because the market is closed, of course, I'm not talking about synthetics here. This is fundamental trading. Synthetics don't involve fundamental trading. We're talking about the normal markets, which close on Friday. So weekends, the weekly candle is closed, the last daily candle of the week has closed, so the market is at standstill. You can easily make decision. So you're looking at the calendar for the coming week so that you know on which day is the market going to be volatile. It's very funny for you to say that you're a trader, something that you make money out of from, which means it's a business, and an event comes out, long candles come out, trigger your stop losses, or your trades they go bad, yet they're good, and the only statement you can make is that, hey, I didn't know what happened. I don't know what happened in the market. It's being very crazy. That's how I take it. You need to be prepared for the coming period of trading. That's why I recommend you look at these economic data. That's why actually our team shares the calendar for the coming week, so that you can know on this date at this particular time, I should not be engaged in the market. Or if you trade momentum, you should be engaged in the market at a particular time. If not, then should I stay away from the market? You make that decision, right? Also know the events that are going, like we have listed now, the events that do short-term affecting and the events that do long-term affecting. Last week, an example, we had the interest rate and the monetary policy assessment of the CHF. And we saw that the CHF cut interest rates. So how is that going to impact the CHF? Now, remember we talked about AUD CHF. Just you can check our analysis on the social medias. I think the team posted it there. And we're waiting. We talked about waiting for the market to do what? Let me just go to H4. We talked about waiting for the market to give us a change of trend, and we have been waiting. You can see I've been monitoring it and following it up, right? We're waiting for the market to stop making lower lows and lower highs until it starts making higher highs and higher lows. So another factor that you can consider now, since it's long term, we're looking at a long-term push. Remember we said that we wanted the price to give us a push up to this level here. Let me just show you to this blue level. Now, this is the daily time frame. This can take several months, or even several weeks to be achieved. So one of the factors, what I normally tell people I interact with, is that fundamentals is like fuel, right? Technical and the charts, this is like the car. Then what is going to move those technical candles and whatever you're marking on those charts, or whatever the indicators you have there, and the rest is fundamental, the fuel. Without the fuel, these things will not move. So now we have gotten the fuel for the first time, and now what is left is just technicals. Give us where to take the trades from, where to be in the market from, at what particular point should I be in the market. But for the technicals, we know that the market made a high, low, high. So we have come back to retest a certain point, and now we need to make a new high. Now, we are saying that CHF, we cut interest rates. I'll go into details into those ones in the upcoming videos, whereby we shall be looking at details of each event, like the interest rate. I'll just give you a snippet of it. The interest rate, once interest rate is cut, the currency becomes weak. Once the interest rate is high, the currency becomes strong. Why? Because more money will be coming into the economy and more investments, hence making the currency strong, because it will be yielding more interest rates because it is high. Once it is cut, people will be pulling out and selling off that currencies because it's not yielding a high interest rate. Business people are interested in the profit. What do they gain, right? So that's just an example of what we are going to be doing in the upcoming videos. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so that you don't miss out on understanding the videos that are going to make you understand what is moving those markets actually, right? So that's what happened last week. And then what does that mean? Since we have cut the interest rate on CHF, it means that we are expecting the CHF to be weak. It may not be weak immediately. That's why I'm saying that it's a long-term thing. We need to see technicals also falling in place. But we've already seen one of the factors that we should be considering. One, we have cut interest rate. Very good. So meaning CHF should be weak. So if CHF is weak, and I'm looking at AUD CHF, what does it mean? Since this one is weak, it means that there's a possibility of us going upwards since this one is weak. If it was strong that increased the interest rate, this one would be looking for it continuing, maybe a break, then we go down, right? So I just wanted to show you the connection between technical and fundamentals on the chart, right? So that is it. This is the first video. We are going to be having a series on it, whereby we shall be going through every event, how you can do the news trading and the rest. News trading, you're trading events, you're targeting between 30 pips to 80 or 100 pips, right? And people have different ways of trading it, but I'll be showing you a number of ways you can do news trading. So today's video is just to make you understand fundamental trading, the two types that we have, the categories of events that are there, the platforms you can use to get that. Also use these same platforms, the calendars, to prepare, not the day on which there's going to be volatility or when there's not going to be volatility, so that you can be ready to do whatever you want to do in the market, right? Use them to create watch lists. Your watch list should not be only based on technicals. You should add in a little bit. Even if you don't use fundamentals, just add in. Know, at least be aware, to avoid these things of saying, I was in this trade, it was doing well, from nowhere it changed. This thing is not for me, right? Because you're just missing out those few things, right? These are some of the things that those professionals are not mentioning to you. Because why? Because people, when they tell you the things, you start ignoring, start saying, this thing is boring, this thing is not nice, and the rest. This one told me I can only use the charts and the rest. Yes, you can use the charts, but the question is, can you be consistent, right? How many people have you seen being consistent with just only the charts? Everyone is showing the charts, right? But the other things that are working behind those charts, that are moving the candles, right? So that is it for this video. I hope you got value out of it. Do not miss the upcoming one. So if it's your first time, make sure you subscribe. If you've not turned on the notification bell, make sure you turn it on. Have a profitable week coming ahead and a nice weekend.